So everything in the digital world is backed by a physical location. This is how you really start getting rich. Meaning that everything that you see on the internet as being designed as a virtual program, and you think that it doesn't exist, but it actually does. It's backed by somebody's real estate, somebody's eye, is what I call it. It could be someone's third eye, or it could be their physical eyes, their two eyes. Literally, everyone was given a vision folder, which Visa definitely has access to. Why do you think they're worth so much money? How did they get access to all those billions of dollars? Because they have access to the units connected to what I'm telling you about, this vision folder. So when you start to learn how to tap into it and monetize on it, they get real scared. They'll declare you a war criminal, a crime boss or something like that, and begin to try to bring down so-called law on you. But all law is backed by what's called UCC codes in this corporation, because we exist in the corporate aspect. So in order for them to do anything to you in law, they're not going to tell you this, but they have to visa you to do it. Other than that, you have to contract out and give your permission, or sign away your permission to let them trade off of you. And that's what you do when you start an ID, and when you start up certain types of companies. Now, there is a way to start a C Corp version. It's not just a C Corp. There's a couple companies you'd have to perform and put together, but you can kind of form what's called an oligopoly. And you can kind of be sovereign through that too as well, if you don't want to be like myself, you know what I'm saying, to have to come out and take up donations. I do this because I'm a teacher first. But over time, every teacher, and they're not going to tell you this part, is accountable for becoming an investor and starting up a hedge group or hedge fund. This is going to be the new trend in the way it's set up or whatever. So yeah, you visa someone's eye or whatever, pretty much is what's going on when you get into this visa or this vision folder that I'm speaking of or whatever. So it's going to get really deep, because what's happening now is that they're not telling you this, but the stock market has crashed. Secretly though, because it's been bought out. It crashed, but it was bought out by a group of investors that are pretty much pulling the strings on it and controlling it from the top. But there's a way out of that. And that's what I'm here to teach over various points of time and over time or whatever. So yeah, this is very important or whatever. You had a vision folder, so everything you do is linked into your, what I say about the credit system is deep, because it's all backed by physical property. So for instance, I'm gonna give you an example and I'm gonna shut down. When you look at credit, you look at the word itself, it paints a picture and it tells you a story of what's happening with it. You see, the credit system, this is where I'm getting at, is actually based somewhere physically. And when I say somewhere, it may not necessarily even be just on this planet, even though they may have headquarters on this planet. But it may not, from my research, may not even be just on this planet. So when you start talking about finance and getting rich and making money and getting finance, there's different ways to come up with money, right? You can work a job and stuff like that and come up with money. But when you talk about credit, this is going into a different, this is not money. This is going into units. So you have to go into like inflation and understanding inflation, because in credit, you may have more credit than what you can actually get in cash. Meaning that in credit, they may give you triple the amount of credit that you actually worth in cash. So what happens is that if you want to secure that credit and make that credit yours, you have to begin to find out physically where your credit score is based at. That's right, your credit score is based on where it reflects something, a physical property here on this planet, and you have to figure out where you're at and then move up from there. So say, for instance, if you had a 500 credit score, a 527 credit score, that means that your credit is locked into, that means you're never going to successfully, with that type of a credit score, move out to California and be rich, because your credit is 500 or something. That means that you're locked into the areas of the East mostly, in the land of the East, which is different from the land out West. Totally different. The reason why they're rich out West and they have experiences like that is because the land out West is connected to the second sun. See, they interface with another sun, which gives them another edge. And unless you've been out there and you go out there at least every 10 years out West, you're not going to have a connection with this, and it's going to make your credit go down. So when you talk about your credit, there's physical places that you got to go to reconnect and build your credit. It's based on your numerical credit code. Now, just because you have a 500 credit score doesn't mean you can't live in California, because it's different. It's 3 numbers. It's a triple number. So what that means is that your credit may be 595, and other person's may be 520. That's 2 totally different numbers. 520 and 595, 2 ways of different work, different rich. 595 may be able to live out in Hawaii, whereas 520 may only be limited to Florida. See what I'm saying? So like, it depends on the numbers and how it's channeled. So when you get into credit, there's a portal and a way to access unlimited credit. Is where I'm getting at. Unlimited credit, but you have to be able to account for every unit that you use, because that's right, credit is used as units. And we'll go into that at future times or whatever. So what you have to do, if you're not interested in breaking away totally from the matrix, is, because it's very difficult, and I don't suggest people do it, honestly, is to go through someone. They just crown me as a king creditor. We have a queen creditor and a king creditor. So I'm going to have to start making videos on what I am now, because Israel just crowned me as a king creditor. So meaning when you donate to me, I don't care if it's 50 cent, dollar, whatever, I'm constantly turning your donations into credit. For you, your name on the roster, because I'm totally accountable, but then also for the community that I'm in, and also for internet. And all of this is linked into a physical property. That's what I'm getting at. And that's what we're going to go into next, on how to secure the credit and where these different, like when you're a billionaire, where's that at? I know you may think that I'm loped out, but I'm serious. Where is $1 billion based at? Not where is $1 billion in cash, but like, if you a billionaire, who owns that real estate? $1 billion is a piece of real estate. You get it? So you have to figure out physically on this earth is much more richer than that. And once you figure out this earth, you're going to become very extremely rich over time, because you're going to know what you're doing and how to manage money and spend money and turn money back over. And once you turn it over 7 times, and that's when you get into ranks. They start giving you ranks in the credit system. So I'm on the king hand, and I'll go into that, what that means, in the next episode coming out in the future. So I thank you guys for everything that you send to 13sideastrology@gmail.com. I don't try to make this an advertisement, but anything we get, this makes us official traders. When we have any finance coming through, whatever, even if it's changed, they can't block us. See, they want to block us, man. They want to block us from being able to trade. Seriously. Meaning that they want to say, you ain't making no money, you a bum. They put any type of thing on. You need to clean your image up. I'm working on that. Getting some, you know what I'm saying, about to get a makeover, a natural makeover from the health food store. It's going to be amazing. All natural products, but that's on another level. But they want to block us and make up any type of reason, because they scared. They know when you have that occult mind and you're connected to Atlantis in the old world. See, we've seen past trillions of dollars. Filthy rich prophets, man. Kings and stuff back in the day. That stuff you're reading about in the Bible, if you master it, you'll become filthy rich. They'll look at the Bible as if it's a pagan book by the time you finish. So you got to be careful and have security. That's why money deals with security. So I'll go into more of this, man. This is kind of like 101, going into the science of credit, real estate, with the occult and how it's all linked together. Because this is really the final frontier. Once you master this, boom. Namaste.